My name is Danielle Benson, and it is an honor to interview my next guest, Jennifer Diepstraten. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Danielle. Hi, everybody.
I want to tell you a bit about Jennifer. I am so privileged I've gotten to work with her a bit, so I know how absolutely genius she is. But I also wanted to read you her official bio because that's very important. So, the thing about Jennifer is that most successful entrepreneurs hire Jennifer's company to add an additional 6 and 7 figures of high profit, high impact revenue by helping them to craft and sell high end offers that are so hot that clients can't wait to buy them. In the last 4 years alone, they've personally helped their clients sell over 19.2 million in premium offers. Clients include brands such as eWomen Network, JJ Virgin, Alina Vincent, and Bo Eason, as well as hundreds of other heart-centered, mission-driven coaches and service-based businesses from around the world. Jennifer's mission is to empower entrepreneurs and the world to create abundance and prosperity. Jennifer and her husband Peter live in the mountains of southern Idaho with their sons, dogs, and a rooster named Jacques. I'm going to have to ask about that later. She is thrilled to be able to hike daily, spend time with family and clients, and impact thousands of lives for the better. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
You're super, super welcome. I'm honored.
I'm so happy that you're here. Please, before we get into it, is the rooster named after the Shakespearean character, or is there a story behind his name?
Jacques is named after a character from The Love Guru. It's a Mike Myers movie,
Oh,
so it's probably all
okay.
I can say here, but you should see the
That's
movie
that's
if you want
great.
to
That's
laugh.
plenty. I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so it's not a Shakespearean reference, it's a Mike Myers reference. That's okay. He's Canadian. I'm cool with that. That's totally cool. I will be looking that up later. So I'm interviewing Jennifer because she is kind of the epitome of a successful speaker to me. I love the way that she does business. She's super heart-based. She's very compassionate and very supportive. And tell us a little bit about yourself and your business before we get into your secret sauce.
Yeah, I'm Jennifer Diepstraten. My business is High Ticket Sales Success, and we help you to craft and sell amazing high-end offers that you love and that your clients can't wait to buy. So I've been doing this business about 11 years. Before that, I was in biotech. I sold in scientists and doctors and those folks. And when I became an entrepreneur, I realized people just didn't like a lot of the old models of how to do sales.
Mhm.
They were old even when I started. And so I was very, very shy actually when I was younger. And when I went into sales because it was the scariest thing I could think of to do. And when I became an entrepreneur, I realized who's like people aren't teaching a way to make sales, a way to craft offers that are super inviting. They don't require you to be pushy or weird. How do you actually make the business happen from that very heart-centered place where you actually care about people? You're not out just to get the money.
Mhm.
And so I started using speaking. As soon as I started selling, I right after that started speaking because the two together are like it's like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I know that that's a big part of. So, how does speaking kind of feature in your business? You obviously work with high ticket sales. Is that part of why speaking works so well for you, or what's the how does it work?
I'll give you a tip. This is how we grew our business to our first multi six figures. We did it in under 20 months. Um, I started like everybody else. Like I didn't have an email list. I didn't even have a Facebook account. I left corporate and I'm like, oh, I have to replace an income now. My husband was staying home with our kids at the time because it was right after the real estate crash and he was in construction. So I had to figure it out. And so it happened at the time that I met a mentor who was her whole thing was on speaking. And I knew that I wanted to be the kind of person who could get on a stage and inspire an audience, create a like an inspirational or like open up a new possibility for them. I wanted to lead transformational seminars. And so I trained with this mentor of mine for a number of years because I mean, speaking to just get up and talk or to do a presentation or to do a book report, it is not the same thing as getting on a stage with an audience that's been curated by somebody else, and then you want to convert into something for your business. But I
Hmm.
could see the potential, and I could see that it could make a lot of money, and it would also be something I would like to do. And so I went all in on speaking, and that's all I did. Like I literally had a single web page, not even a website, for 2.5
Wow.
years, just speaking and in small venues, like online, 9 people, not nothing big. And it's just we can talk more about why. I'm sure you've told people why speaking is like the thing, but it's such a powerful tool. I still do it today. If I want to fill an event, I speak. I want to sell a course, I speak. I want to have bigger visibility and new partners to promote something of mine, I get on a stage.
Yeah. And I love that you said that you're speaking to smaller audiences too. It's not like in order to make high ticket sales, in order to make kind of real money in your business, you need to be speaking in front of hundreds and hundreds of people at all.
Oh, right. That was the tip I was going to say. Like what I do, the shortest path,
Yeah.
and it's still literally what I do today, even though we've made millions of dollars, okay, is I speak to an audience for 15, 20, 30 minutes. We do a free offer and an invitation to book a call. And the right people, if you have the right talk and you're in front of the right audience and you make the right invitation, they'll book a call and then we'll sell thousands of dollars off of those calls. So
Yeah.
it's very low tech, and extremely effective. I was actually thinking about some numbers for you. Do you want me to share some numbers?
Yeah. Share some numbers.
I was
Share
thinking
some sexy
because
numbers.
I speak a lot virtually. There's
Yeah.
hundreds of places you can go online to speak to small audiences online. And I was just thinking last year when earlier this year, I was on a plane and I spoke in front of an audience of about 40 people.
Right.
And about 78% of them, 80% of them opted in for my free offer. And then we also sold within the next 3 months $85,000 worth of high-end offers to those people. But I didn't have to
To
sell
40
anything from
people.
the front. Yeah, and I didn't sell anything from the front of the room, right? I was just giving,
Yeah.
giving, giving. Yeah, so that's how we do
And I love that. I love that you don't sell from stage at like first touch. It's always much more gentle, and obviously you have a very specific process to this that you teach people, so we won't go deep into that because you should work with Jennifer. She's amazing. But yeah, obviously you have a process to this, but it is still the most effective, and yeah, like you said, it's really low tech. It's very accessible to people. Like you don't need to have a lot of stuff to go out and speak. But you did say there's a difference between just speaking and speaking to sell. Do you want to speak a little bit about, like, emotionally and internally, does that did that those two things feel kind of different for you? Did it take you a while to kind of master the speaking to sell versus just
Oh,
speaking?
well, I remember very many years ago, my mom said, "You should be a speaker." And I was like, "What about? Like, what would I speak about?" This was way back when I was in corporate. I hadn't even started my business yet.
Yeah,
But I ended up in a personal development course. And one of the things we had to learn was how to lead a seminar from the front of the room. We'll talk about personal development for somebody shy. I remember being in a room with my peers, about 50 of them, and I'm on stage, and we all had the same thing that we had to deliver. So they all knew what I was supposed to be saying. And I remember standing on the stage, and I'm like looking over towards the door, thinking, I wonder if I can make it to the door before anybody notices that I've left. I was just like sweating, and it was just so hard. And so just speaking for me, like it's a miracle, really. Like even that I'm here with you and I'm like extemporaneously speaking, it's really a miracle. I was so shy, I was so scared, so sweaty. I still get nervous, but
mm,
I've just
me
done
too.
it enough time that I'm kind of just used to being nervous, and I have to take off my little slippers because my feet sweat. But but in
And
terms of like
always speak
speaking.
barefoot anyway. It's just better.
Yeah, I mean, I have one shoe on and one shoe off. So, but the thing about speaking to sell, and what I really want to say is like speaking with a purpose.
Mm,
Not necessarily that you're selling from stage, which you certainly could go direct to a sale from a stage,
yeah,
or you could sell a free offer and have people, sign up to learn more.
or an
But
idea or a movement. You're
yeah,
still selling. Yeah,
exactly. Like that's what speaking is. But if you're speaking inside of a business, the speaking has to attract the right people and lead them to the right place.
Hmm.
And what I see for a lot of people is they want to become speakers, but they're not, but they don't have a business behind it, or they're not speaking on the right thing. Like,
Hmm.
and a lot of times if you don't know where you want to take people, then you end up talking for too long about the wrong stuff.
Hmm.
And then your business doesn't kind of go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just telling your personal story for too long, and people are like, "Oh, I feel sorry for that person. Oh well." And then there's like no, then you don't get any of the juice or any of the
Yeah.
benefit of the speaking. So, like having that right talk with that right purpose, so it's inside of a business strategy is, well, what Danielle does.
Well, and I love this because, the way I used to think about speaking to sell was that speaking was fun and selling was scary. And then I learned more, and I realized what you're saying, that it's more about taking the audience on a journey. And it's cool because then you realize that it's actually more about being in service than anything else. Then if you're just speaking and telling your story, it's kind of egocentric. You're like, oh, it's all about me. It's the me show. Whereas if you're speaking to share something, to sell something, to provide an experience, you have to think about your audience more than yourself. And that's actually nicer, I think.
Well, and that's also for me, if I'm nervous, it means I'm worried about me.
Yeah.
If I, as soon as I put my attention on the audience, the nerves go away. So, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of tools. I mean, Danielle, obviously you're the expert at all of those things to not be nervous, but um, yeah, I mean, it's all about the audience. And I actually won't speak unless I can make an offer.
Right.
So it might even be a free offer,
Mhm.
but I like for me, if I'm going to get on a stage, I want to impact lives, right? Like otherwise, why, right? Like that's the whole
Yeah.
point is to get on the stage, give the audience an experience, impact their lives in an important, meaningful way. And you you don't really know how much impact you had if you don't ask people to do something. Because what
Mhm.
people say they'll do and what people actually do are two
Mhm.
totally different things.
That's true.
So
That's
as a
true.
speaker, I want to get real cozy friendly with inviting people to take an action because then I really have real feedback instead of just what's in my head, which is never friendly, about how effective was I actually
Yeah.
in really getting my message across. So I always speak to sell unless, even though I'm not actually like selling is sort of a general term, right? It could be selling a
Yeah.
free offer, in fact,
Yeah.
like no extra money, right?
Yeah. And you mentioned that, you're introverted and you're shy and that it took you a while to get over your nerves, which is so reassuring for everyone, I think. And that you still get nervous, reassuring for everyone, I think, because you're very successful and you still get nervous. It's okay. But do you think that having the kind of the fire and the passion and the wanting to make a change, do you think that that helped with getting over the initial nerves and like the initial shyness? Do you think that that helped? Like if you hadn't had that heart-centered reason to get up, do you think it would have made a difference?
Oh yeah. I mean, your passion for what you're doing. So you're always going to be afraid. Like
Yeah.
newsflash, like I don't care how successful you are, you're always going to be afraid of something. Everybody's afraid of different stuff at
Hmm.
different times, but you're always going to be afraid. So you can just count on that.
Yeah.
So pick something, like fire up your passion for something, because if your passion is big enough, it'll be bigger than the fear.
Yeah.
That's what you want. If the drive and desire is not there, then why bother? So pick
Hmm.
something really foster that. So I like to say, growing in business is overcoming a series of fears.
Yeah.
You never know when they're going to appear. So
So true.
I intentionally put myself I intentionally choose goals
Mhm.
that are a little bit scary
Mhm.
because they cause me to have to grow and get over myself.
I love that you lean into that. You're just like, yeah, bring it. I'm
Well,
gonna
it's
do it.
the lid, right? Like if I don't do that, then I'm always going to be the same that I was, which means I'm not going to get any bigger. And if I really want to make a difference in the world, then I have to cause myself to grow. So I intentionally put myself in scary situations and then I have to like get over it. And, of course, we have all these tools to help ourselves with our limiting
Yeah.
beliefs and all those things. And if I look at where I am now, I would not, I just remember that when for every stage of growth I've had in my business and as a speaker, every time I'm on that in that new place, I'm like, whoa, how did I do that? And then I think, oh, because I did it, because I chose to do it. So it's
Hmm.
not going to just, it doesn't accidentally happen. Like every successful speaker you see is because they put themselves in the situation that would develop them and they dedicated themselves and they found a really great mentor and they did it.
Yeah. And it's not a mystery. It is just a, you do the steps and you get to the place. It feels like a mystery when you're looking at it from, the bottom of the mountain and you're like, whoa, it's amazing. But you do the steps and you get to the place. So what do you think your biggest struggle was?
The biggest struggle was probably writing that first talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote that first talk. I had 11 different first talks. I think that
Very
was,
different or all very similar?
they were similar, but I couldn't really, I just kept redoing it. And I think it's a procrastination technique. It didn't feel like a procrastination technique, but I kept trying to have myself be comfortable by
Mm-hmm.
redoing it, but that's not actually where the comfort comes from. So I've kind of learned to quiet that part of my nervousness or nervous system and just like the talk's good if I show up for it. You know what I mean? If I
Yeah.
can be present and really be with it, then it's going to be fine. So don't let like my talk's not ready. Well, and I
Yeah.
know you have an amazing thing that kind of just circumvents that whole issue completely.
Not even a problem.
Not even a problem. So don't let that get hung up like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, so I can't be a speaker yet. No, no, no. Just talk to
Yeah.
Danielle.
Yeah. And I'm amazed. And it does, it takes time. You do the steps, it takes time. You got to overcome the fear. I'm amazed that you had such an amazing growth within such a short amount of time, but you also are one of those people who just leans in and goes, I'm scared of this, so I'm going to do it, which is an admirable quality. What would you for those who are just starting out, who've got this like they've got this big passion, but they've also got the nerves and they're not sure if they can do it, if everyone says that speaking's really good, but what if it's not for me? What would your advice be for those speakers just starting out who aren't quite sure yet?
Okay, well, number one, have a talk. Right, like plan a talk it's not just the topic, but what goes in the talk and how you deliver the talk. Like you have to have something that you're going to speak about. But I'll tell you the biggest piece for me. I had been speaking for about 8 years and pretty successfully. Like we were doing pretty good. We were doing pretty good. We had developed a pretty good talk. I had been done, many, many, many dollars of sales. But I'll tell you, the year I really just became myself, we doubled my stage conversion.
This is the magic, people. It's just about being yourself.
It's
Mm.
and it's not just like, oh, blah blah, I'm going to tell my personal story. No, you have to have a talk structure that allows you to deliver the right message.
Mhm.
But for years, I would get nervous. I mean, I still get nervous. But what I noticed was at some point along the journey, I really settled down and I stopped giving so much of a
Yeah,
whether or not I did it right. And when I let that go,
yeah,
just even more magic started happening. It was
yeah,
really, I just stopped, can't say I stopped caring, but I stopped being so trying. Just stopped trying. And I just
yeah,
started being, and it just started working so much better.
yeah. Like caring for others as opposed to caring about what others think, I think is maybe the difference because yeah, and this is one of the things that's so magnetic about you, Jennifer, is you're just so comfortable with yourself. And it's so great, and it gives us permission, when we're working with you to really feel, oh, I can be my weird, quirky self because Jennifer's being her weird, quirky self. So obviously it's okay. It gives permission, which I think is so fantastic because I agree that if we spend so much time and energy just trying to be something that we're not, what if we spent that time and energy instead being connected, being passionate, connected to our audience? What if we took that time and energy and used it for something more useful? Because trying to hide who we are is never useful anyway, and it's exhausting. And who you are is who you are, no matter who you are. When you're really who you are, it's magnetic.
Well, and it's weird because it didn't feel to me like I was trying to hide who I was at
Yeah,
all. I just wanted to do a really good job.
Yeah.
right? I just really wanted to do a good job. I knew it was a big opportunity to get on a stage or a lot of eyeballs on me. So I just wanted to do a good job.
Yeah.
And and I did. And here was the kicker. People would say to me, "Great presentation." That was the feedback I was getting.
Mm.
Jennifer, that was such a great presentation. You just did such a great job. And I hated it. If people tell you you're doing a great job, just hate it.
Yeah. No,
Because,
I get what you mean.
do you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
why would you say that to somebody? You tell them you did a great job because they're trying to do a good job.
You can
Not,
see that
whoa.
they want the star, they want the gold star.
And I'm such an A student, it was
Yeah, me
just,
too.
and of course we want to do a good job. I'm not saying don't try to do a good job. It's just
Yeah.
that can really get in the way of us really, really connecting. And when you see a speaker
Yeah.
really connected to the audience, like magic happens. And so that's all I'm saying. Like, of course you're going to do a good job, but it when you're trying to do a good job, you're just not gonna impact the audience as much as knowing you're doing a good job and
But
just being with the audience.
it comes back to what you just said about the difference between focusing on yourself or focusing on the audience. Focusing on yourself doing a good job because you want to get a gold star, or focusing on the audience and doing a good job by giving them the experience that you need to. And it's so subtle, and it's you won't even really notice it necessarily if you're not really paying attention. But internally, it's a big experience, and it changes the experience with the audience, I think.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Speaking of, if you are interested in building your speaking confidence, I have a 3 day coming up. The Ignite True Speaking Confidence event. It's 3 days, and Jennifer has very generously offered an attendance bonus. So for people who come for the full 3 days, you got to experience the full 3 days because you want to get the results. You don't want to just pop in and go, oh, that's nice, and then use that as another excuse to procrastinate. You actually want to do the work, show up, do the thing so that you get to where you want to go. So if you come to the whole 3 days, then Jennifer has a gift for you. And Jennifer, I'd love for you to tell us about what that is.
Yeah. This is for you because you actually went and like don't go to an event and just dip a toe in,
Yeah.
especially something like Danielle's where it's ignite your speaking confidence. You want to be a speaker, you want to have more confidence, you can do it. This is a truly transformational experience. You never know when the transformation is going to happen. So you want to be there, present, and really engaging yourself so that you can come out on the other side and be that speaker you want to be. So I have a gift for you because what I have noticed is that like for people that take action, when you take fast action, you sign up for the event, you go to the event, you're so much farther along than the person who didn't, right? I mean, what's the difference between success and not success? Well, the person who had success took the
Mm-hmm.
action, right? That's the only thing, right? So go to the event, and then I have a bonus for you because I know you're going to be able to use it, which is the new client by Friday 5 day challenge. Okay. And so it is you have digital access to this entire course. It's a $497 challenge that I did. And it's like bite-sized training each day for 5 days. And guess what happens by Friday? New client. So what happens if you actually do the work, is by Friday, you'll either have a new client or you'll have moved your opportunities so much farther than you probably ever would have. And you'll be like, oh, that's all I have to do to bring in a new client. It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's my gift to you for
Mm,
attending the event.
that is so powerful. And yeah, Jennifer has an amazing way of just taking like really like common sense stuff that you know and just distilling it into something so powerful and so digestible that you're like, oh, I can do that. It doesn't feel so overwhelming anymore. I can do that. I could do those steps. And she does it with such grace and such finesse. So I'm really excited about this gift. It is fantastic. You will have just come off 3 days of interactive learning how to speak, doing some speaking, feeling confident in the way that you're showing up as your beautiful self and not trying too hard to get that gold star. And so doing those steps will feel like the perfect next step to keep you going. And of course, if you need any support, you can always call me and just ask me questions. So we have to, I could talk to Jennifer all day, but we have to wrap it up. So Jennifer, do you have any final tidbits, words of wisdom, secrets to success that you would like to leave us with today?
Yeah, what I would say is if you are still here listening to me and Danielle, sign up for the event. I mean, really, it's like when you see a window of opportunity that appeals to you, it's kind of special. You know what I mean? Like there's this like, ooh, something's calling me there. What you want to learn to follow those um, feathers of inspiration, if you will, and just go for it. So I've learned over many years that it's better to just, when you get that inspiration, when that possibility knocks, answer the door, do it right away. And if you do that, opportunity will flow very quickly to you. If you don't take the opportunity, as a friend of mine says, how often does a once in a lifetime opportunity knock? Um, Only once if you don't open the door. But if you keep opening the door, just things start to flow in it with such rapidness. So I would say if you're here, that means you're interested in coming to the event. Go to the event of Danielle's, get your speaker confidence, and then make that a practice of when you see an invitation or you have inspiration around something, just act.
I love that. Follow the sparks of inspiration so that you're building momentum, so that your courage will overcome your fear. Yes, yes, yes. So thank you so much, Jennifer. I will be back in a moment with more secrets to speaking success. Stay tuned. Thank you very much, and we will see you very soon.